Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Apple Watch Series 10 and compare it against the Apple Watch Ultra 2 and see which particular watch is a better one for you. Now, there's a couple of things to keep in mind within these particular watches. Okay, number one, the Apple Watch Ultra 2 has been out for a year already, where the Apple Watch Series 10 has only been out for like a couple of days, maybe like a week by the time you're watching this video. So it hasn't really been out for that long of a period of time, so just kind of keep that in mind. If you're taking a look at both these watches though, there's some really big things to keep in mind here. So we'll talk about that throughout this whole entire video. If you want to pick up either one of these watches, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these particular watches, the first thing you have to remember here is that with the Apple Watch Series 10, this is a different type of watch than the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Right? The Apple Watch Ultra 2 is supposed to be kind of like a more of a rugged design type of watch. This is supposed to be a watch for like the pro user, the ultra user. If you're somebody who's outdoors a lot or somebody who's going to be taking advantage of all these cool little body tweaks of the Apple Watch Ultra 2, then it makes a lot of sense to buy it. Otherwise, I definitely think for a casual user, the Series 10 is it's not as overboard as the Ultra 2. Now, the Apple Watch Ultra 2 comes out in one size. It comes out in a 49mm size. So it's a very big sized watch. The display itself gets up to 3000 nits of brightness. This in and of itself is a very big thing, having that type of brightness on that type of panel, because that's a very, very bright panel that you can get on this thing. It's a titanium casing. It's a very thick watch as well because it has such a big size battery inside of it. So just those things in and of itself kind of sways a lot of people away because it's a big watch. It can probably deter a lot of people away from using it because it's very thick and it's kind of heavy, especially it's heavier than the Apple Watch Series 10 that's thinner now than all the other watches. So I just want to kind of get those things out of the way, that it's a very rugged watch, it's a very durable watch, but you are probably going to be running into these types of issues where it's going to be big for you or it's going to be too thick for you. So kind of keep that in mind. With the Apple Watch Series 10, this particular watch comes out in two sizes. So you can either get the 42mm size of this watch or you can get the 46mm size of this watch. And I definitely do like having that variation of being able to choose that bigger sized watch or that smaller sized watch depending on which way I want to go. And this is in and of itself a really nice thing going on for this type of watch. Now this thing is giving you a 2000 nits of brightness display, so it's not as bright as the Apple Watch Ultra 2, but it is giving you a wide angle OLED display. So that is something that's really nice with this type of phone. So that is something that's really nice with that type of watch because it is giving you a little bit of an advantage over the Apple Watch Ultra 2. But like I said, with the Apple Watch Ultra 2, it's giving you a brighter display on that watch. So it's kind of like a push and pull, just kind of depends on which way you are kind of thinking about it. But I do think this in and of itself, once again, is another fairly big thing to keep in mind here. They're both giving you the same type of setup on the right side, a clicking button and like that, side button. However, the left side on the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is giving you that other button that you can click on. It's like an action button, which is really cool. I really love having that inside of the Apple Watch Ultra 2. And you're getting that inside of those watches as well. On the backside, they're both giving you those charging capabilities. So they both charge exactly the same way. They both use the exact same charger as well. So there's not really that big of a difference here either. Like they're both giving you the same type of capability when it comes down to that type of watch. So they both kind of lack the same thing that I like on some other phones. Like both these phones don't support like reverse wireless charging from iPhones. I wish that was the capability. You still have to buy that charger and it's proprietary, so there's nothing really you can do about it. But you can interchange them and they, basically the first Apple Watch charger will still work on these things as well. So ultimately, that kind of covers up the watch itself. It comes out in a couple of different, colors for the Apple Watch Series 10. However, on the Apple Watch Ultra 2, it only comes out in one or two colors basically. The black color, which is the titanium one, and the natural titanium color. Whereas on the Apple Watch Series 10, you can get it in jet black, rose gold, silver, slate titanium, gold titanium, and natural titanium. You have a lot more colors to choose from something like the Apple Watch Series 10 over the Apple Watch Ultra 2. So that kind of covers it up from the exterior. However, I do want to hit on the band selection between both. So you can interact the bands on both. Like if you have the biggest model of the Apple Watch Ultra 2 and the Series 10, you can interchange those bands. So they should work, hand in hand next to each other. However, if you're getting the smaller Apple Watch Series 10, the bands on those will not work on these bigger models. So keep that in mind. If you're coming from a smaller watch, like if you're coming from an Apple Watch Series, 6 and it's the 40 or 41 millimeter size, it's not necessarily going to work with these bigger bands. Unless you're going to buy new bands and all that, the chargers and everything will work, but the bands will not work. So just kind of keep that in mind in the back of your head as well, because that is also a very important thing to keep in mind. Now, another very important thing is the price tag between both these watches. The Apple Watch Ultra 2 is basically giving you an $800 price tag for that phone. That is a very big price to pay for a phone like this. It comes with some capability, but that's a crazy big price. The Apple Watch Series 10 comes out in $399 for the base model without GPS, but the GPS plus cellular model that's more in line with the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is $499. So that right there is another pretty big thing, right? That's a pretty big difference. If you're looking at both these watches and if you're wanting a watch that's going to be giving you, I guess, better capability for the price, it's kind of hard to look at something like the Apple Watch Ultra 2 in the brand new market and look at it at $800 and kind of think to yourself that that is a better value. Like, I feel like the Series 10 is probably the better one from a value per dollar standpoint. So that right there is just one thing to keep in mind. Again, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but that is just one minor thing to kind of keep in mind there when you're kind of looking at these watches side by side. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there too a little bit as well. Now, on top of those things, the Apple Watch Ultra 2, one of its biggest, feature sets is the durability aspect. And with something like the Apple Watch Ultra 2, you are getting up to 100 meters of water resistance. Both these phones are swim-proof. You had that depth gauge to 6 meters on the Apple Watch Series 10, where the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is 40 meters. You have water temperature sensing on both. But on the Apple Watch Ultra 2, you're getting high-speed water sports, and you're getting recreational scuba to 40 meters. So that stuff is actually very, very important to have, I would say, in something like an Apple Watch Ultra 2. Especially if you're somebody who's like more of the outdoorsy type, like I mentioned before. But like I said, I am not really the outdoorsy type. I just go like on runs and stuff. So from that side, either one of these watches will be good. I just check notifications on my watch. I do basic things like that. So I'm not really this like super heavy user when I'm going through and using these watches when it kind of comes down to that too. So that's just kind of one minor thing to keep in mind. Chipsets, the Apple Watch Series 10 has that S10 chipset inside. The Apple Watch Ultra 2 has that S9 chipset inside. So theoretically speaking, you're getting a faster chipset, I guess, on the Apple Watch Series 10. But the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is giving you substantially better battery life, up to 36 hours of battery life on the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Whereas on the Apple Watch Series 10, you're getting 18 hours of battery life there. So that right there is another very big difference to basically have. Like if you're getting an Apple Watch, you probably want to be able to get a watch that's going to be giving you better battery life. And the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is basically giving you that type of capability right there, which is absolutely insane. So to kind of sum up this whole entire video, to kind of answer this question, I do think the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is probably the better Apple Watch here for a vast majority of people. That one is the watch that I look at and I'm like, wow, that is a really good watch, but it is substantially more expensive than the Apple Watch Series 10. I would say, if you're going to go ahead and buy one of these things in the used market, the Apple Watch Ultra 2 you can probably buy for like around $550 to $600. The Apple Watch Ultra 1 you can probably buy for like, maybe like $300-400. The Apple Watch Series 10, for it being brand new, it's still cheaper than the Apple Watch Ultra 2, even in the used market. I think the Series 10 is probably the better watch for like the everyday average person. But I think with something like the Apple Watch, Ultra 2, if you have all the money in the world, buy that watch. But just understand that it is a very, very thick and big watch when it comes down to it. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.